Prestissima here. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about grand staffs, and we're going to learn about ledger lines. Let's review the grand staff. So we have the top staff here, which is the treble clef staff, and we know that the treble clef is based around this second line from the bottom, which is G, right? So we call this the G clef, or the treble clef, because this big swoopy part here is centered around this line, which is G. And then down here, we have the bass clef. We call that the F clef, right? Because it kind of looks like an F too, look. But these two dots are centered around this line, the second line from the top, and that line is F. So we have G, the treble clef, the G clef, and we have F down here, and that's the bass clef. So this G up here, treble clef G, that's the first G above middle C, right? So that's the first G above middle C. And down here, this bass clef F is the first F below middle C, right? So when we put the treble clef and the bass clef together like this, and they're connected by middle C, see that? It's in the middle there and it connects them both. We call this the grand staff. Another name that we use for grand staff is system. So in music, if you see a grand staff like that, you might also call it a system. Now here's something interesting. Middle C is not actually on this staff, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, that's a staff, but this middle C is not on the staff, it's below the staff. And we have the bass clef staff here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. It's not on the staff, it's actually above the staff. This line here, I'll show it to you. See that middle line? It's in between the treble clef and the bass clef staff. That is called a ledger line. And middle C is on a ledger line. So when we go up and down the music alphabet, you can go way higher than the notes that are on this staff, right? And you can also go way lower than the notes that are on this staff. So you could just draw in extra lines, as many as you want, and down here too, so that you can show how low the note is and how high the note is without putting it on the staff. You just draw extra lines just for those notes. And we call those lines ledger lines. Ledger line, ledger line, ledger line, ledger line. There's a ledger line there. So there's a ledger line here, ledger line here, ledger line, ledger line, ledger line. So your notes can go on the ledger lines. So here it's on the staff, right? But here it's on a ledger line. And if there were more lines, you could just keep going up. And down here too. Look, there's a ledger line. It's right in the middle because it's not on the staff. And then down here there's a ledger line. Here's a ledger line. And you could keep going down to more ledger lines too. So just like on the staff, you can actually be on the lines and the spaces of the ledger lines too. So on the staff you have, G, that's a line, and then above that you have the space, that's an A, G line, F space. Middle C is on a line, right? So what goes above middle C? That's a space. That's a space, and that's D, okay? And what about below middle C, which is on a ledger line? That's a space, and that's B, okay? Let's try way up here. See how you're on a line there, and then you're in a space. What about if you're up here? You're on a ledger line way up here, right? So if the note was above that ledger line, what would it be? It would be on a space, okay? And then what about down here? I'm between two ledger lines. Is that a line or a space? It's a space. You'll know if it's on a line because the line goes right through it. So this is on a ledger line, and then this is below the ledger line. So that's a space. Okay, how about way down here? How about down here? Here's some ledger lines. Here's a really low ledger line. Now, what if I was below the ledger line? That's a space, right? Okay, how about if I was on this line here? I'm on the ledger line. Okay, what about between these two ledger lines? There's two ledger lines, I'm in between them. That's a space, yes. Just like that's a space, and that's a space, and that's a space, and that is a space. And then when you can see that the line is going through the note, that is on the line. So you are on the ledger line, on the ledger line, on the ledger line. Now, here are 3 super fun ledger lines to memorize right off the bat. So, this one right here in the middle, in between the treble staff and the bass staff, is middle C, right? See that? That line right there in the middle of everything, that's middle C. So we'll always know that one. Now, if you go 2 ledger lines above the treble staff, okay, so 2 ledger lines, that's 2 C's above middle C, or the second C above middle C, okay? Interesting. That's 2 C's above middle C, okay? Now, what if we go 2 ledger lines below the bass staff, okay? 2 ledger lines below the bass staff. That's 2 C's below middle C, or the second C below middle C. Wow! So we have middle C, and then if you go 2 ledger lines above the treble staff, that's the second C above middle C. And then if you go all the way down here, 2 ledger lines below the bass staff, you have the second C below middle C. So we've already memorized 3 C's and 3 ledger lines. We have middle C, and then the second C above middle C, and the second C below middle C. It's like a mirror image, right? See, 2, and then 2 up here, and this is right in the middle. So if you folded it, it would be kind of like a mirror image. Can you play these notes on the piano? I'll just show you real quick so you can see, okay? So we know where middle C is, right? That's this one. That's middle C. So 2 C's above middle C. Here's 1, and then here's 2. Okay? That's this one. Cool, huh? So middle C. That's this one. Okay, now how about, there's middle C. We're gonna find this one, okay? So here's middle C, and it's the second C below middle C. Here's 1, 2. Ooh, way down there. So middle C, 1, 2. Oops. And that is this one, down here. Cool, huh? Let's try naming all the notes on the grand staff that we can do right here from middle C up and from middle C down, okay? Let's do up first. Okay, so we know that one. That one's middle C, right? All right, we know our music alphabet, right? So this should be pretty easy. So here's C, and then 1 step up from there into the space, that's D. 1 step up to the line, that's E. 1 step up to the space, that's F. 1 step up to the line, that's G. 1 step up to the space, that's A. Step up to the B, that's a line. Step up 1 to the space, that's a C. Step up to the line, that's D. Step up to the space, that's E. Step up to the line, that's F. Step up to the space, that's G. Ooh, step up to the ledger line, that's an A. Step up to the space between there, that's a B. And then you're gonna step up to the second ledger line. We know that one, right? That's C. That's the second C above middle C. And then there's a space above there, and that's a D. Okay? Wow, that was a lot. Okay, should we try going down from middle C? Let's try it. So, middle C is on the line, as we know, and then we're gonna go step down to that space. That's B, all right? Now we're going down. Okay, so what's before B now? We're gonna step down to the line, that's an A, and we're gonna step down to the space, that's a G. We're gonna step down to the line, we know that one, that's bass clef F. Step down to the space, that's an E, and then step down to that line, that's a D. Step down to the space, that's a C. Step down to the line, that's a B. Step down to that space, that's an A. And then step down to that line, that's a G. Uh-oh, we're below the staff now. Step down to that space, and that's an F. And then you're gonna step down to that ledger line, that's an E. And then step down to that space, that's below the ledger line, right? That's a D. Okay. And then what's this? This, we know this one. This is the second ledger line below the staff, right? So it is the second C below middle C, okay? And then we're gonna step down to that space right below it. What do we have? That's a B. Wow, we just named all the notes on the grand staff with 2 ledger lines on either side. Amazing. So today we learned more about the grand staff. We learned about ledger lines, right? Look how cool these ledger lines are. And we actually named every single note on the grand staff up to 2 ledger lines above and 2 ledger lines below it. Yay! I've had so much fun today practicing with everybody, and I can't wait till the next time. Prestissima out.